heard that music because I'm not hearing anything. This is a work in progress, ladies and gentlemen, live from Seattle, Washington. All right, that's where we are right now, live from Seattle, Washington. It's balmy. It's balmy here today. It is let me put these on just for the hell of it. It is, I don't know, 50 something degrees. 50 degrees. Here it is, February the 18th, 50 degrees at 6 o'clock at night. That's pretty cool. We don't normally have that right now. Had a very, very busy day today, which I'll be getting into here in a little bit. Uh, had some espresso not that long ago, a few little pepperonis, you know. So I'm buzzing like crazy right now. You may notice there's no Taint today. Taint is in, I don't, where is he? I believe he is in, where is he? He is in, he's in skiing. He's skiing right now. That's where he's. I couldn't remember. I was going to say the state, but it's a state I've never been to, so I forget where he is. But anyway, we are here today having fun. No Taint on this podcast or streaming event. I don't even know what to call it at this young stage of its career. I'm still working on that. I'm still trying to figure some things out. I'm sure, however, it will present itself somewhere down the line of what this truly is. If you're ever creating something, you ever want to do something, you got to kind of sit back and let it become what it's going to become. And that's the stage we're at right now. I do know this. I do know that I love the live aspect of this whole show. It's the closest thing that I can find to old time radio. You know, even in radio today, there's so many delays. We could actually, if we said something, did something wrong or whatever, we have a delay. We've got a delay on top of a delay. And then the other radio stations we're on have a delay to make sure that nothing really bad gets out. Not here, baby. This is what I love about this. I love, not that I'm planning on letting anything bad out, but it's just a good feeling. It's the closest thing I have to what radio used to be, and that's why I'm doing this late night radio show. So there you go. That's one of the reasons. On tonight's show, I saw something that may have actually changed my life for forever. But before I get into that, I need to let you know about my thought process behind this very, very young show right here. Now, I've already talked about my need to feel that magic again, to let those creative juices flow without no regard at all to any sort of outcome whatsoever, to make some mistakes, to take some chances, to create absolutely something out of nothing, which is really exciting to me. And anybody who creates anything, whether it's art, a book, or a business, it doesn't matter. You start with nothing and then you end up with something. And to me, that is the most exciting thing of this whole process. And that's how the show started, with one simple thought. Then a few buttons later, a few clicks here or there and all that stuff. And all of a sudden, boom, here we are. We got ourselves a show. We don't know exactly what kind of show it is, but we got ourselves a show. And hello to everybody who's streaming right now on Instagram, not Instagram. We're streaming on, where are we streaming? Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And hello to everybody who's in the Zoom room. Good to see you guys. Yes, there's no delay. I don't know if you heard the music or not at the start, but hey, we'll see what happens there. God, this is so frustrating to me. Not knowing anything about technology, I've been brought to my knees right now. And I'm finding anybody who's really good at this super inspirational. So it's good to see everybody. Hi, Bettina, and everybody who's in the the chat. I'll be getting to you guys here in a second. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you guys. But right now, we're just doing this thing. Taint, and I've got my own reasons for why I'm doing this show. And they started off, like I said, just to feel that creative juices again, just to see what happens. Now, Taint and anybody else who's going to be a regular on this show are doing it for their own reasons. And my job is to kind of bend those reasons together to see if they all fit. I mean, I had another guy who wanted to do to fill in and to do things. And I texted him. He said, Leal, I've been around for a phone call, never returned my call. So The passion is real for the show, everybody. It's very, very, very real. But lately, you know what? I've come to realize that some of these reasons that I just mentioned, things go a little deeper actually than just having fun and creating something out of nothing or to connect with you guys, which I find so fun right now. It's really cool to talk to everybody in the Zoom, to get the comments and everything else. That is one of the big plans of this show. Once all the technological stuff's ready to go, it's going to be on, guys. And you guys are going to be big stars. You could actually be one of those regulars, be one. You know, I'm so excited to see where this damn thing is going. But I know right now at this point, some of these ideas that I'm coming up with and some of the feelings that I have of why I'm actually doing the show are going to become a big battle for me. Is I've come to realize that I miss a certain time in my life when I just kept my head down. I'm sure that you guys have been there. I'm sure you've been there as well, trying to establish yourself at all costs. And I know you've been there. I know you've been there. And it's funny how we look back at these desperate times. And believe me, they are desperate times as the good old days. We look back at them with some sort of romanticism, although it's painful AF right now getting things done. I really, truly miss being blissfully unaware of all the world's problems and just kind of focusing on my own life. You know, you could call that selfish. You could call me selfish all you want. But at that time in my life and the feelings that I want again, it was me against the world, you know, which was actually a blessing. If I had people telling me that everything was going to be okay, I might have believed them and then just relaxed and then not pushed through. And I think that's something we need to realize, guys. The truth is, we need to be scared somewhat to succeed, to push through these things. So if you're scared right now, lean into it, guys. Seriously, just lean into this thing. It's a damn gift from the universe. Trust me on this one. And I feel like I have that in my life right this second. It's just kind of a different version of scared. It's just kind of a different version of desperation. You know, I have a wife and we are aging like all of us are. And my fears are very real of not being able to provide, not being able to retire with enough money and all that kind of stuff. And these are real fears. And if you're not there yet, you're going to get there. And there's a lot of things you could do leading up to these moments in your life to make these moments less painful. Unfortunately, I didn't do all those. And now I'm learning. So I'm trying to pass the savings on to you, man. How am I going to live? You know, that's one of the questions. How am I going to live when I can no longer make money? When I'm no longer relevant, and which, by the way, is slowly and slowly getting more and more a reality, you know, which unfortunately comes with age. And I think it sucks that people in their 70s are supposed to be gone. They're supposed to disappear. We don't give a shit about them anymore. It's completely wrong. So, what am I doing right now to get that laser like fear focus back in me? One of the things I'm doing is that I'm not watching news. I want to keep my head down. I want to keep my eyes on the prize, as everybody says. You know, I've worked in media all my life. And here's the facts that your favorite news channel is not going to tell you. Media's job is to own your attention. They want to own everything about you, to tempt you and to tease you and to into watching another 10 minutes. You know, please just watch another 10 minutes or show. I'm going to tempt you. I'm going to tease you. I'm going to scare the living hell out of you. This is where Trump is great. He's a master at owning the media and people's attention. And it doesn't matter what side of the level you're on, the ledger you're on there. You could be, you know, a big MAGA supporter. You got his attention. If you're a hater, you got his attention. He doesn't care. He's owning you right now. And that's what media does. Media's job is to leave you hanging. This is the truth. I have been in media for over my entire life. This is what my job has been. to get you to tune in tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. There's a complete art to all of this stuff. It's not that hard to do this. Anybody's doing it. It's crazy. You could do it too. I'll go ahead and give you a little master class right now at how you could go ahead and succeed in all this stuff. Just tell people what they want to hear. Make them feel good, make them feel relevant, make them feel that they're smarter than they truly are, that they're not crazy, that they're not alone. People, this is what media does right now. Also, when that doesn't work, you just scare the living hell out of people. This is why politics is so in our face right now. But the scaring of people just isn't a way to make people vote for you. It happens with everything right now. It could happen in the weather. Go buy all the water, a hurricane's coming. Go get all that stuff ready. Make sure you got enough plywood on hand. Make sure you do this. And what happens? Half the time, nothing freaking happens. You know, you can tease you see me on the news all the time. There's a product recall that may kill you. Of course, you wait around another 40 minutes or so for all that information. And it turns out to be a story about toilet paper in a town with a population of like 6 people. It just doesn't even matter or pertain to what's going on in your life. And that's just the TV stuff, guys. That's not it. I mean, it's way worse right now on social media. And I don't want to be one of those people that bitches about social media. I love it. I love connecting with you. If it wasn't for social media, I couldn't be doing this. Without social media, you guys wouldn't be here on the stream right now, would you? But the people who are successful on social media are all using the same exact techniques to own you that all these TV stations are doing. And what happens? We believe them. We believe them because maybe they got a ton of followers. And we give them all kinds of really undeserved credibility for that. And it's not because we're lazy or because we're stupid by any means. It's because we have a life and we're busy. We don't have time to go ahead and see what they're saying, if it's true or not. We don't have time to fact check anything. We just don't. We're just kind of relying on these people telling us what they want us to hear with all their scare techniques. It's social media, guys. I'm telling you right now. So I promise not to use any of these techniques on this show. This isn't a scare the hell out of you kind of show. And if this idea fails, this whole show idea, the late night radio show fails, that's probably going to be the reason, because I didn't scare the living hell out of you enough. I didn't do all that kind of stuff. But you know what? I'm not above using those techniques. I know these techniques inside and out. And if I get desperate enough, like a lot of you people follow and people I follow are, I guess I know I could probably be huge in the political arena, even though I know nothing or even care anything about politics. I've thought about this. I've thought about throwing my hat in the arena because I've seen a lot less qualified people make a ton of money. And if my goal is to make a ton of money and get the F out of here, maybe I'm going to do this. I'm not saying I'm not going to do it. And I already know what side that I'd be on too. I'd be on the side that where everybody does what they're told, where people don't ask questions. It's up for you to figure out what side that is. But for now, I'm going to concentrate on the Lex and Terry show and using my current fears of not being able to provide for my family or my loved ones, or not being able to retire comfortably, as motivation to go ahead and turn this show into something, a place for good conversation, maybe some laughs, and a space to get away from all that stuff that I basically just talked about. Okay. Hello to everybody again in the in the chat room. I promise I'm going to get to you here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and see what you guys have been saying. Hello, Sandra. Hello, Dave. And Sean. It's not Dee's fault. But right now, I want to get onto something that I recently saw that I believe may have changed my life forever. And some of you are going to roll your eyes. Some of you are going to go, okay, and see what I'm talking about. But I think this requires a little bit of a backstory here. I think that people think that I'm a minimalist. Only because people have called me that. in my life, that I'm a minimalist. And I'm called that because I'm somebody who doesn't like clutter around. I don't like that. I like clean lines, a clean house. I like to be able to see where all my stuff is. I want very few things. I had a house that had cement floors in Dallas. And the people on the radio show would come over and friends would come over and go, "What do you do with this place? Do you just take a hose and hose it out?" Because it looked like we had nothing there, very few things on the wall and everything like that. It was beautiful. It was a clear space to think, to create, to have some fun. And luckily, Sherry feels the same way. She's not one of those people that wants a bunch of crap laying around the house. But that, to me, that's far from being a minimalist. I mean, there's so much more to being a minimalist. You know, I guess the definition of it is basically somebody who believes that owning fewer things will create less stress and in turn give you more freedom in your life. Minimalism became kind of a thing, which is embarrassing a while back, kind of like being a vegan. It's more of a status thing that everybody wants to talk about. I'm a minimalist. I don't desire things. That's for you mortals. Stuff like I've never been like that. Where I believe that I'm kind of a minimalist is that um, I know for a fact that owning things isn't always a net positive. It really isn't. People collect things thinking that they're worth something, and then a lot of them aren't worth the time or effort to put into it. Simply possessing something doesn't always add value to your life. Sometimes it makes your life a little more stressful, a little more difficult. You feel as though you're, a guardian of a painting that your grandmother had or something like that. You never put it on the wall because let's be honest, it's hideous. You never put it on the wall, but she had it. Yet you take it with you every house you go to, everywhere you move, you take it to you. And if you don't take it with you, you're paying for a storage unit to keep it there, something you would never use because it has some sort of sentimental value that basically owns you. And until recently, I had a storage unit like that. Then I learned to ask myself a couple questions. Will it bring joy into my life? I still have a few things that I don't want to get rid of because, they remind me of a loved one. No, I allow myself one thing per dead person. you know, and if I get tired of that, I'll find another family member who might enjoy it and get some power and strength out of it and maybe some love out of it like I was, but I don't need that stuff. The truth is that not owning things by choice is going to save you space, stress, money, all kinds of stuff. So here's where my life and thoughts on this may have been ramped up a little bit. This is where I learned maybe a valuable lesson. As I've told many of you guys, I'm moving. I'm moving. This is no longer going to be my view. I'm going to miss this. It's been fun, but an offer was made on the house. It was too good. You got to go. You just have to go. You can't be I can't be, once again, I can't be tied into things right now emotionally. I know this is not going to be the place that I retire, that I'm going to die. And neither's the other place that I'm moving to. This is not my forever place. But I've been packing, I've been tossing all kinds of thing out, more and more and more. And we had some bigger items. We had a bed and some other large items we wanted to get rid of. They were unsellable. Nobody wanted to take them. I mean, the mattress we had was, I don't know, 15 years old, you know? So off to the dump we went. And I don't know how long it's been since you've been, gone to a dump. It's been a long time since I've gone to a dump. And back in the day when I went to a dump, it's just a landfill where you just took some stuff and you threw it and you drove away. Not this one. This one was super organized. There were some lines to get in. Yeah, you put the stuff in the car, you drove over there. There's some lines you had to get in. We got in the wrong line first. It was for yard trash. And so we had to get into another line and, and all that kind of stuff. But so we get into this area where they weighed my car. They weighed our car. And, with the mattress and all that stuff in it, then we pulled into this huge thing that seemed like an aircraft carrier was like an aircraft hangar, and in it were piles and piles of stuff. It was nuts. We were told where to dump our stuff. We were horrified. The closer we got, and we saw all these other mattresses, bicycles, and broken down lawn furniture, and I mean, they're just piles. I mean, I don't even 50 feet high of this stuff. It was so weird looking. It was so surreal. And the smell of everything was just old and stinky. It's like, wow. I mean, Sherry and I were speechless for a while. And as soon as we drove out of there, we both looked at each other and went, Jesus Christ, do we have too much stuff? Are we collecting too many things in our life? And guess what? We got home and we immediately lightened our load even more, swearing that I will think about this moment forever. Before I buy anything else, I'm going to try to remember driving into that and seeing all this stuff all over the place. And listen, this isn't me trying to be some, you know, green kind of guy or anything like that. It's just embarrassing to see all the stuff we throw away, but we buy things, you got to get rid of it. So, where does all that stuff go? I have no idea where that stuff goes. How much junk, if this is just one little place down the street, how much of that stuff is happening right now all over the world? How wasteful it is. So, I have a new theory. I developed a new theory. When I get something, I'm going to make sure it's nice. Just a few nice things that are going to last, some quality items, some well-made clothes. If I'm going to get a sport coat, I'm going to get a good one. I'm not going to get a $30 one. I'm going to get a good one that'll last me forever. Your car, what happens to cars? There were no cars in there, but luckily Sherry and I have one car now. We're down to one car and it's a 2016 car. It's almost 10 years old. Granted, it doesn't have a lot of miles on it because we live in the city. We don't drive around a lot. I think this almost 10-year-old car has maybe 33,000 miles on it. So do yourself a favor. Go to a dump, take your kids to a dump. And if you're not affected by this, you got to seek professional help. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and go to the question and answer portion of this show. This is where it'd be fun to have Taint or somebody here, but I'm enjoying our time here. This is good. Let's see here, just to watch. But let's see what people are saying here. Sandra, just watch an episode of Hoarders. Yeah, that's gonna go and cure you of that, but it didn't cure me of that. I've seen those a lot, and I don't know. It doesn't affect me because it's somebody else. I didn't see it in person. You know, let's see here. Do I miss my Porsche? Yes, I do. I'm not gonna lie. I miss those things, but I don't need them anymore. I mean, it was a great time of my life. I had the extra money. I was young. I wouldn't look like a douchebag. I still look like a douchebag. Okay, I'll admit it. But I've had three of those cars, and I loved them. They were just so well made and so fun to drive. And yeah, I wouldn't mind having another one again, but that's not in the future for me right now. But it goes in that category of buying something that's well made. Let's see. I'd rather trade five okay collectibles for two or a really nice thing. That's good. Similar junk. That's really cool, Ryan. That's a great idea right there. That's another way you could do it. If you've got these collectible things, trade for your five for two, two nicer ones. That's a great idea. I like that a lot. Let's see here. Let's see here. And Robert's challenging me here. Yet you want to live in a metroplex. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with living in a city where you don't have to drive around all the time? You're not wasting all putting all that wear and tear on your car. What does that have to do with anything? I think you swung and missed on that one, dude. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see what everybody else is saying here. Brandy, take your stuff to the Goodwill, man. We do stuff with the money from the donations. That's great. That is, I take when I don't. Goodwill wouldn't accept a mattress, so I had to take on them. But I always take stuff to the Goodwill or the Salvation Army. I always do that. Let's see here. What else? Let's see here. I've been on top of a landfill off 301, and you could literally see the skyline of Jacksonville from there. It makes you wonder how everything will be in the next couple of years. I think that you're dead inside if you don't wonder what's going on. I can't tell you how much this affected Sherry and I. I'm not going to say, it's completely life changing, but it's something I'm always going to think about. That's for sure. All right. Anybody have any questions about anything here? Let's see here. These are some great tips that people are coming in with. Thank you so much. Jenny on Facebook says, take your home and belongings like you have to travel. If it isn't important enough to take with you, probably you don't need it. And which is true. I just had this talk with Sherry. We've got boxes in the living room and I've been taking my time packing. We've known we're moving for a while. I don't want to get all stressed out and do it all in one day. So I've been taking some stuff and putting them in a box. And there's quite a few boxes stocked away and piled away in the living room right now. They've been sitting there for 3 weeks. I haven't needed one thing that's in those things. I haven't needed one thing at all that's in. It's just so weird to me. So I'm torn because I do want to get some nice. I like buying stuff. I like buying things for other people, and I'm a pretty generous guy. But I guess your guys' advice has been really good. Thank you so much. But that's not being a minimalist. That's just being a human being. Let's see here. Dennis wants to know what's the hardest thing you've tossed on your move in the transition? Ooh, that's a great question. There's still a lot to come. There's still a lot of time to do this, but I got rid of all of my yearbooks and all of my basketball trophies and all that kind of stuff that they're just sitting in a storage unit. And so what I did with all the yearbooks is and I'll scroll through this just so you can see this. I actually went for those of you that are watching online, I'm just going to go ahead and show the camera this right now. I went through all of my yearbooks and all of those memory moment things, and I just took a picture of all the pictures I had. So for example, here's a picture of Lex and I. I don't know if you can see that or not. That's Lex and I with one of the guys on the Kinks. Here's Lex and I with Andrew Dice Clay. This is just a bunch of different, things that I have. There's a lot of stuff from my childhood. Like I said, from basketball and all that stuff. But it felt really weird to throw them away. I even threw away. I've been journaling for a long time. There's a time that I started at 15, probably did it every day till I was about 35 years old. Then I got some success behind me. And for some reason, I stopped journaling. And now I'm back to doing it. But I threw all those away. I don't have a space for this. I'm never going to really go back and read them. I mean, I kind of thumbed through them and it was all the same thing. Things aren't working out. It's just me bitching. So I just went ahead and got rid of all that. Let's see here. Brandy, I still have stuff my dad's from her bass tournament trophies. I have no clue what to do with them. You know what? Maybe, just maybe, somebody else in your family might enjoy those. Divvy them up a little bit, lighten your load a little bit. I can't tell you how much freeing it is. I get teased by all the people on the Lex and Terry show that I always have to have my space very clear of clutter on the show. I have my little notebook that I write things that I want to talk about in. I got a microphone and I'm focused. I'm ready to go. I can't deal with looking for something I wanted to talk about or spilling something on the desk or things like that. I just cannot deal with it. And they make fun of me. I guess maybe I'm weird that way. I don't know if any of you guys are like that as well. Let's see here. What does this say here? Her VM really struck me. Her VM. I'm not up on the thing here. I'm sorry. I'm not. Anyway, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Natalie. For those of you that don't know, Natalie in the Zoom room of the Lex and Terry Sudden Death Show, she left us a recorded message where she was very upset about her son who's in the Marines with a big choice he has to make, and he's dealing with some mental issues that he's having a rough time. And she was bawling when she went up. But we talked to her today, just so you know, and she's doing much better. She hasn't heard from her son yet, but she's doing much better. All right, guys. Hopefully Thursday. I'm not sure if we're going to have Taint or not, or if I'm going to have somebody else join me because I do have a couple other people. I will be having some new guests. Let's go ahead and play some little music out. No, that's not the one I want. Let's do this. I don't know if you guys can hear this or not, but coming up on a show in the very near future here, very near future, where I'm excited to bring you Tarot Taint. Taint has an outfit and tarot cards now. He will be doing tarot card readings for you guys. I've got some great guests lined up. I've got a death expert. We're going to talk about death, how to deal with death. Do you come back from it? What happens? What happens after death? We're going to be talking to the death expert. I want to get Sarah B. Morgan on the show, who I believe has got a very great mindset when it comes to creating opportunities in her life. Some of them call it luck. I'm going to start calling it opportunities, but she is a very lucky person. But to me, luck means you just stumble into it. I think she creates it. We're going to talk to her about that. And of course, we're going to be, let's see here. Oh, I want to talk to her about her newfound life of being single. I think she could also help some people out with being single as well. And got a brand new bit called The Imposters that I want to pitch to Tate and see. I know he'll say yes. I know he'll have fun with that. That's just the working title, The Imposters, which is going to include you guys. You are the people that are going to make it either good or not. So we look forward to that. And just some more serious stuff. We'll be talking about some silly things. I don't know if you know this or not about me, but I really like being silly. I like my silly moments every day. I've got to have some sort of silliness in my life every day. And sometimes it's not welcome on my morning show. But you know what? It's welcome here. You guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for being in the chat room. Thanks for sharing the show. We will talk to you later and enjoy your night.